Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the IdeaFly F90 Octopus Pro. This is a waterproof micro drone. It's got some prop guards here, 2-inch props, the Gem Fan 2035s. Don't get a whole lot in the box here. You get the drone with the props on, a spare set of props. You get a USB battery charger, charges through the balance lead here. Pretty normal stuff here, and the battery is underneath. You get a manual. It's a decent manual. Covers things like the specs and how it's configured. I think it even shows you how to do the arming. I think this is a set for stick arming here, motor lock, unlock. So pretty basic manual, and it's pretty good. It actually explains everything fairly well. So I'll go ahead and I'll go through how to actually bind this to your Tyrannus, because it's got a FreeSky receiver in there, and then we'll go and take it for a fly. So first of all, let's go over what we get on the drone itself. It's actually fairly heavy. We'll get a little weight measurement here a little bit later. It's got 1104 8500 kV motors. It's supposed to run on 2S. The LiPo here is a 2S 400 milliamp hour LiPo, I believe. Yeah, it's 400 milliamp hour, 7.4 volts. It doesn't have a C rating. I have to see how good the battery is. Oftentimes the stock batteries aren't so great on these ready to fly models. Comes with a JST connector on the drone itself. So no XT30 here, so we might have some performance issues. It might not be the rocket ship that everyone wants for a waterproof drone, but I guess we'll find out. So because this is a waterproof drone, they've built this in a pretty unique way. Get the battery out of here. The circuit board is actually part of the frame, or actually is the frame. That's what the motors and the prop guards are mounted to. And this is not carbon fiber, it's fiberglass, so it's not electrically conductive. And then the circuit board has the flight controller and the receiver, I believe, the FlySky receiver, because you got a couple of buttons here. I'll show this in a second. You have your motors and motor wires going underneath this canopy here where the 4-in-1 ESC is. It's a 10 amp 4-in-1 BLLES, and I should be running D-Shot 600, I believe. And then inside here you've got your, I believe it's a VM2751 with the OSD camera, and you have a single dipole, or actually probably a monopole antenna sticking out of here, and you get a couple holes here for the buttons. And supposedly you can look in there and maybe figure out what channel you're on, but good luck with that, because the lights are on the back here and there's no way to see in there, so you're going to have to kind of guess as to how to find your bands and channels. But it's pretty typical. There's like 5 bands, and you would long press it for 2 seconds, I believe, to switch bands, and then short press would be to switch channels within that band. So you're going to have to do a little trial and error to find your channel, but it is possible, and I was able to do that no problem. Now, as I mentioned before, the drone is waterproof, so probably doesn't mean you can dunk it in a pool or in the ocean, salt water, that kind of stuff, but probably flying it in the rain will be just fine, assuming that you can see. If water gets on the lens here, it's probably going to obstruct your vision. And of course, 5.8 gigahertz FPV does not do well in the rain, so whether or not, depending on how hard it's raining, it might not be all that flyable, but I guess we'll try. I live here in California, so weather's pretty good right now. Still fall. I'm not going to see raining season for a while, so I'm going to have to figure out some other creative way to test the waterproof abilities of this drone, and maybe fly through some sprinklers or something. I'll have to find somewhere where they're watering this. That's going to be kind of tough. But anyway, I'll find a way to test this out. Basically, the whole drone is waterproof. They put some sort of I don't know, like a coating or something on here. It's kind of sticky. It's not really conformal coating, but it's there to protect the electronics on here. And I'm pretty sure that the entire drone is waterproof, pretty much on the outside, on the underneath here, on the inside, as well as in the camera. So, we'll run it through some water somewhere, and we'll see how waterproof it is. But it looks like they've already done that, so I expect it to fly just fine in normal amounts of water. So something I've noticed here is that they're using this battery of this certain size that fits in here, and if you want to run additional batteries, you're going to need to find batteries that are of similar size. I happen to have some of these, are kind of close, but if you don't, then what I would suggest is you can always peel this off. This little plastic tray is just on here with some sticky foam, I believe. You can just peel that off and then use rubber bands, or probably use rubber bands would be the best thing, and hold on your other size battery, like if it's more flat, for example, and then you can use some of the batteries with the JST connector, 2S of course. Okay, so in order to bind this receiver to your Taranis, you have to hit the bind button here, and it's on the underneath side. It's built into the circuit board. And there's also a bootloader button here, and we'll take a look at IdeaFly a little bit later. I'm pretty sure it's IdeaFly 317. I'm going to run it pretty much stock, so I'm not going to really be changing too much, but go ahead, I'll show you how to bind this to your Taranis. Basically, you're going to hold down this bind button while you're plugging in, put the receiver into bind mode, and then we can bind it to my QX7 Taranis here. Okay, so I've created a new model in my Taranis here, and then the instructions here for the integrated receiver, which is a PPM receiver. It does say we need to choose D8 mode, and then you can just go and follow these instructions to do the binding, but I'll go ahead and I'll show you real quickly how to do that. It's pretty easy. So I'm going to change my channel range from 1 to 16 to 1 to 8, and then we're going to go up here to the mode, and we're going to change that to D8 mode, and then we're going to hit go down to the receiver and hit bind, and then the Taranis should start beeping. There we go. And then we're going to, this is the tricky part, you got to hold down the bind button here. You got to hold down the bind button and then plug in the battery. Take this out of bind mode and unplug the power from the drone and then plug it back in again. Okay, so now you guys see that now, but there's a solid green light on the flight controller. It should mean that I'm bound, but I'm going to plug it into the computer to figure out why I can't arm it. Okay, so I figured out what was going on. The channel map on this flight controller is TAER, and the channel map on my radio was AETR, so I had to switch the channel map in the flight controller to match to my radio, and now it is working. So it does exactly what the manual says. You can arm by moving yaw, throttle down, yaw to the right, and that'll arm it. And then disarm is yaw and down to the left. And see, that's disarm now. I'm actually going to switch it up because I like using a switch here for arming and disarming. I don't really like stick arming. But if you don't want to mess with the configuration, you can just do stick arming. Just have to keep in mind that your channel map has to match what's in the flight controller, so you either have to change it in the radio or you have to change it in the flight controller. In my case, I left my channel mapping alone in the radio and I switched it in the flight controller. So if you do that, then everything should be good to go. Okay, so at this point I'll go ahead and I'll take it out to the field and fly it with the configuration that's already installed in here. It's IdeaFly 317, but it looks like they've done some PID tuning. It's got some very strange PIDs. The P is very low. It's like 18 and 22, which is, I think, is going to be too low for this. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go into the OSD and go ahead and fix that. So I'll probably do that in the field, and you'll see that in the FPV footage. When I adjust the PIDs, you'll see what the PIDs will be from the stock. But I'm going to start off with the stock, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be too low.
Does feel a little heavy in the air, but power is okay. Definitely flyable on these PIDs. Let's do a little acro flight here. And these rates are pretty low. I don't like these rates. Rates and PIDs are very personal, so okay, no air mode, I forgot. so you can't drop the throttle all the way. Ooh! Battery ejected. And prop guard destroyed. Prop came off. Probably put that back on. I don't know what happened to the prop guard, that's gone. Yeah, so I guess this is what happens when you try and fly with rates that that you don't like. I should have landed and changed the rates because the rates were just too low for my type of flying. But if you're like into really sedate flying, these rates will be totally fine for you. One of the props came off, one prop guard got totally destroyed, but I'm going to fly at FPV anyway. If you guys are new to PIDs and all, you'll know that it's very personal, and not one set of PIDs will work for just for anybody. So I just wanted to fly it stock for you guys, and obviously for me the stock PIDs and rates their PIDs seem okay. I mean, they seem stable, but the rates are just no good for me. So I got to change this. I'm going to change this for the FPV flight. Okay, so the damage was pretty severe, enough where I wasn't able to fly it again FPV, so I decided to go ahead and do some mods on this to at least, well, not necessarily get it to fly, but it seemed like it flew okay. The problem was the rates. The rates were just way too low on the roll, and it was too slow for me to recover on that flip, and that's why I crashed, because it was going too slow, and it was too heavy, it was dropping too fast. That's the reason I crashed. It wasn't because there was anything particularly or specifically wrong with this. It's just that I was not expecting it to roll that slow, and that's what happens when you fly with rates that you don't usually fly with. So, lesson learned there. I probably should change that next time, but I wanted to fly it stock for you guys. But now I am forced to change it up because it wouldn't fly. I got rid of all of the prop guards. I think 3 out of the 4 of them broke. One was lost completely, and the other 2 broke, and 1 was intact. I just threw that away. I took that off, and instead I soft mounted the motors just for the hell of it, because I just felt like it was a little bit of fluttering, so maybe some oscillations. So I went ahead and did that, and I got rid of the battery tray here. There's a screw that holds on the battery tray. The battery tray also broke in the crash. It's held on by these pieces of foam and some screws. So I just got rid of that. And by the way, this coating that's on here is wax, which is, it comes off. Like when I was modding this, like all the wax came off. So I'm not sure how much longer this is going to be waterproof. And that's about it. I think that's all the changes I made, and I'm just going to fly it with a regular, like a 350 or 400 2S LiPo. The LiPo that I was using, the original LiPo, the stock LiPo, was very, very hot. I think that the C rating is just too low, so I'm going to go with a little better battery for this next FPV flight. So it's pretty obvious flying this around that there's a lot of jello in the video, and I'm pretty sure the camera isn't loose because it should be glued into the top part of the canopy, the globe part. So I think that the jello is mostly coming from motor vibration that is being reverberated through the fiberglass frame. That's also part of the flight controller. And you know, the arms are a little on the floppy side, so they could use some maybe thicker fiberglass there to provide better support. I don't know. There's just a lot of vibration that's coming in through the video here, and I'm pretty sure it's not because the camera is loose in the housing. Pretty sure that that's pretty solid. I think it has to do with vibrations coming through the frame, and even with the soft mounting, I was really surprised at the amount of jello that I'm getting. Normally with soft mounts like that, you don't see this much jello because a lot of the vibrations are dampened by that, but that apparently was not enough. So I probably need to mod this some more to maybe, I don't know,
do something to the camera mounting for perhaps. I'm not exactly sure. Honestly, I think I'd pass on this model unless you specifically want something waterproof, and obviously I haven't been able to test the waterproofing on this. I think this one is probably a pass. I think it's kind of a gimmick. I don't like the fact that the flight controller and receiver are built into the PCB as well. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this review. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.